What's B2Capital G here, looking at a brand new archetype called the MagiBullets, and these guys are going to be released in Spirit Warriors, which is actually looking like a very interesting set. You guys know this is going to be where the new Six Samurai stuff is going to premiere. I'm not particularly thrilled with the new Six Samurai supports, although we are getting these guys, and if I can go ahead and scroll up, there we go. We're getting another archetype called the Weatheries, and I'm not exactly sure how they're going to work because there's only one card that is known of the archetype, unless I'm mistaken, and it's not this chick, so I'm gonna assume that she is a Weathery as well. But this archetype, the MagiBullets, they look really cool, and it's awesome because they're an archetype that lets you activate all your spells and traps from your hand during your opponent's turn, and that is fucking nuts. If any of you guys have played Spiral Phantasms, that is like one of the best things about that deck, is that if you have Pacifics on the field and you have, you know, normal monsters, you can basically activate all the traps from the hand, and it's just really awesome because you never really have to you never have to worry about getting blown out by like Twin Twisters and stuff like that, because your spells and traps are obviously not on the field until you activate them anyway. So let's go ahead and look at the new archetype. I think the artwork on the new boss monster, or it's assumed that this is the boss monster because it is level 8. We don't know, and by the way, we only know a couple of cards in the archetype, but I will say if the spells and traps are as good as the monsters, this archetype will definitely be, like, it'll have some competitive potential. The artwork on the boss monster looks really good. It almost reminds me of a Dark Lord monster. Like, it looks like it could definitely fit in with the Dark Lords. I wonder about the artwork and maybe censorship, though, because you guys know historically in the TCG, Konami is not like to show, they don't like to show guns on cards. If you look at cards like Don's Allude, they took the guns completely out of the card, they replaced it with knives. If you look at cards like Reload, they made that into like some sort of weird sand gun, and just, they don't really like to show guns on cards. So I kind of wonder how they're going to potentially alter these cards. But let's look at the first one. So let's start off with the big guy. This is MagiBullet Fiend Zamiel. It's a light fiend monster, okay? And so far the entire archetype is light and fiend. So, you know, shout outs to Honest, another good deck to run it in. Level 8, 2500 attack, 2500 defense. I love the defense of this because if it gets switched to defense position by Book of Moon or, you know, another opponent's card effect, I don't have to start sweating and worrying that my monster is going to get ran over. You can tribute summon this card face up by tributing one MagiBullet monster. Definitely like that. You guys saw how important that was for a card like Domain. Taking two tribute monsters and making them one tribute monsters is a really big deal, and for this card to have that is definitely nice because it appears that this is your boss monster. The first effect is built into every monster in the archetype, which honestly I can't even believe that they're doing. It seems really powerful, and I love it. You can activate MagiBullet spells and trap cards from your hand during either player's turn. That is so damn good, guys. That means the second that you just draw traps, you can activate them immediately. That also means you can activate trap cards from your hand during your opponent's turn. That is, just look at Phantasm Spirals, man. Look how good that deck is based on just that alone. Just being able to use Regeki breaks from your hand and never having them be susceptible to your opponent's Twin Twisters and stuff like that. It's very powerful. Now, the second effect of this card, I actually could see getting out of hand and out of control really easily. It says during your opponent's end phase, you can draw one card for each MagiBullet spell and trap card you activated this turn while this card was face up. So this is almost like a watered down version of like Spellbook of Judgment or something, because imagine if you activate like 3 or 4 of them, or, you know, actually I guess it's more comparable to like Super Rejuvenation. Imagine if you activate like 3 or 4 of them during your opponent's turn, you just get the draw like 3-4 cards. Like, that's pretty damn insane, and considering all of those cards can be activated from the hand, your opponent probably won't have any way of stopping that. I don't know, man. It seems very powerful. Then the second card is if I can actually scroll down a little bit, MagiBullet Shooter Casper. This is a light fiend as well, level 3, 1200 attack, 2000 defense. The attack's kind of low, but it's got a 2000 butt, so, you know, I'm not going to complain about that. The first effect is the same as the other one, and the second effect says if a spell or trap card is activated in the same column as this card, you can add one MagiBullet card with a different name from that card from your deck to your hand. So this guy is kind of like the Searcher. It is a little bit situational, but I don't think it's all that situational. I mean, just summon this card into one of the columns that you know you're going to activate ASAP, and the card that you activate doesn't have to be a MagiBullet card. So, you know, you can just activate a Book of Moon or a Solemn Warning or something like that, and then you get to instantly search for any MagiBullet, you know, card that you basically want. It can be a monster, it can be a spell or trap. So I'm thinking this archetype looks really interesting. Now, obviously, we don't know what the spells and traps are going to do. I just kind of want them to just be maybe Paleozoic level. Like, if we can get Paleozoic level cards for this archetype as far as spells and traps goes, this archetype can be incredibly powerful. And I wonder if it's going to be link based or if it's not going to have any extra deck or what, because, you know, I don't really think it can be Xyz based, because it seems to, you know, kind of work on tributing, at least the boss monster, and usually tributing and Xyzing don't really kind of go together. Plus, the levels are all over the place right now. You have level 8 and level 3, so it's definitely looking really interesting. And, you know, we only have a couple of cards, but when we know more about the spells and traps, I'll definitely make a video on that. What do you guys think of the MagiBullet archetype so far? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already.